Alright, today we're going to be working with 4.3. With 4.2 we put each different account title, which you'll notice on page 65 where it says account title up at the top. We put every account title in its own general journal. But today we're just going to combine them, and we're going to take our transaction that we have and we're just going to combine them and write them out. If you open up your books to page 108 and your workbooks to page 65, we'll get started. On page 108, our directions are: a general journal is given in the work pages, and it says that we will guide you through it. We have different transactions, and each one of them is going to be stated on the general journal. Okay, so we're going to get started with the date. We have November 1st, discovered that a transaction for supplies bought last month was journalized and posted in error as a debit and prepaid insurance instead of supplies for $60. Okay, so this is where we're going to be getting into our errors and making sure we correct those. So the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to write down the date. So we have November 1st. Okay, November 1st, all right? And since it says we discovered that a transaction for supplies was bought last month and journalized, we are going to start out with our supplies. So we're going to put down, we want to correct the supplies. Okay, all right. It says that we have our document number as M15, so we're going to put that in too. All right. And then we have, since we are going to give them the money back, we're going to actually debit the $60. So we're going to put down 60 here. Okay. And it says that since we journalized it as supplies, we posted an error as a debit to prepaid insurance instead of supplies. Okay. So now what we need to do is this is where we're going to credit back the account. So we are going to have our prepaid insurance, and we're going to credit back that $60. All right, this is just like if you were to open up an account and you put down that you bought the supplies, and so they're going to debit that account, all right? But then, since we haven't paid it yet, we're going to credit it back, okay? Since we want to make it into our supplies instead of our prepaid insurance, we're going to credit back the prepaid insurance instead. That way we know the difference, all right? So on November 1st, again, we have discovered that a transaction for rent expense for last month was journalized and posted in error as a debit to repair expense instead of rent expense for $550. All right, so again, I'm just going to put down 1 here, so I know that it's a different transaction. And it says that we have rent expense last month that was journalized, okay? So now we're going to put down our rent expense. All right. And it says that our document number is M16. That way we can make sure we keep our transactions different. And we are going to debit that rent expense for $550. Okay. And then we need to credit back our rent repair expense for $550 again. Alright, so we'll notice that our supplies, since it says that we discovered that the transaction supplies was journalized instead of our prepaid insurance, so we're going to debit the supplies and we're going to credit back our prepaid insurance. Alright, that way we can get it off of our account and make sure we have the right transaction. Same way with our rent expense, so that's the difference between our debits and credits when we have errors.